All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Connecticut FFA State Convention. I hope everyone is able to hear me. If you can, throw a thumbs up. Awesome. Tonight, we're going to go through a lot of business that will affect the future of the Connecticut FFA Association as a whole. So our team is very thankful and commends you for sacrificing your night to be here. That being said, obviously this is a different process than normal because we are here on Zoom. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our state parliamentarian, Matt, who is going to explain a little bit more about how this convention business session will work.
All right, hello all. So essentially you'll be placed into two separate committees momentarily. One of them will be about the Constitution and bylaw changes, and the second one will be about the budget. For the Constitution and bylaws changes this year, because we have a large number of changes, we opted to use a procedure called consent calendar. To put this as simply as possible, we took, say, 3 or 4 different motions and grouped them together. So you will be voting on all of those motions under one motion. Does everybody kind of understand that? And if there's any questions, please yell at me. So we did 2 different groups. We did a group A and a group B. You'll be provided with those groups when you do get into that specific committee, and you'll have the opportunity to look through them. What I will say is that if at any point or any of the motions you feel deserve a vote of their own, you can move to pull an item from one of those groups. So say you think that this motion in group A, it doesn't really fit there, you can opt to pull that out, which will then force us to vote on it separately. The consequence of this is, however, that we'll be here for much longer. We're obviously trying to make this as speedy as possible, which is why we opted to do the groups. And the groups were picked for the specific reason that they're all somewhat similar in their specific groups. And there really shouldn't be a ton to discuss, in particular to each motion. With that, if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to me or any of the other state officers here today. And I guess I will turn it back over to Lauren to figure out the rest of this.
All right, thank you, Matt. If you have any questions at any point, feel free to throw a hand up and we're happy to stop and explain. We know that this is a different process than usual, and we want to make sure that all of us are on the same page so that all of our business is conducted appropriately as such. So momentarily, I will open those 2 breakout rooms. And first, what we're going to try is having you assign yourselves. So you and your co-chapter delegate, hopefully you're in contact, will communicate with each other and decide which of you is going to the Finance Committee and which is going to the Constitution Committee. Is there anything I can clarify about that before I create the rooms? Okay, perfect. So I'll make those rooms live in just a moment. But before we get rolling on that, we'd like to take a head count of all of you. So our secretary, Joanna, will call a roll of the delegates present.
I'm so sorry if I'm going to mess up your name. Indira Velata and Kaylin Baranuevo from Lyman Hall FFA.
Here.
Tyler Tripoli from Bridgeport Aquaculture.
Here.
Savannah Battles and James Wheeler from Rockville FFA.
Here.
Dominic Lombardi and Anna Silkman from Trumbull Regional.
Here.
Here.
Fezzo R. Katovic, correct me if I'm wrong, and Grace Coombs from Glastonbury FFA.
Here.
Chevis Hankins and Ryan Thomas from Ledyard Regional FFA.
We are both here. Sadly, Ryan cannot stay here. He's kind of laggy a little bit.
Thank you so much. Sandra Leclerc and Isabel Easley from Chippewa FFA.
Here. Andy's here as
Madeline
well somewhere
Pol-
in Zoom.
Thank you. Madeline Pohl and Karma Copeland from Wamogo FFA. All right, we'll skip over Wamogo for now. Taylor Christian and Spencer Marco from Housatonic Valley FFA.
Here.
Here.
Thank you. Ben Manzer and Arya Patel from Suffield Regional FFA.
Here.
Alyssa Hodges and Amelia Pillis from Woodbury FFA.
Here.
Shelby Bellows and Rhiannon Martin from Killingly FFA.
Here.
Erica Kusiak from Southington FFA. Anyone who is serving as a delegate and I did not call your name, would you please unmute yourself and please tell me your chapter?
My chapter is Northwestern Regional FFA.
Thank you so much.
I'm also from the Northwestern Regional Chapter FFA. I'm Alexa Yakowicz.
Thank you.
I'm from the Glastonbury FFA chapter. Name's Nick Lee.
Thank you.
I'm also from Glastonbury FFA. I'm Morgan Moss.
Is there anyone who else named it? I'm so sorry. Is there anyone else's names that I did not call who is serving as a delegate?
Hi, I'm Isabel Caracciolo. I'm from Stanford FFA.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else? All right, seeing none, I will turn it back over to Lauren.
All right. Thank you, Joanna. Do we have a head count? Just so we can make sure that we made quorum.
I'm counting. We have 26.
Thank you. All right. So I had a question come through in the chat asking if the two delegates from the chapters need to split up, and that would be to your benefit so that each of you has a delegate from your chapter in one of the two committees that we have. If you have alternates with you, then feel free to have two people in one of the breakout rooms. So what I'm now going to attempt to do is open two breakout rooms, and at the bottom of your screen, a breakout room thing should hopefully pop up based upon what I've read. And you will be able to select which one you go into. If for whatever reason it doesn't work, I will manually assign you, but fingers crossed that this goes smoothly. We'll give it a couple seconds. Hopefully everyone is able to select, and in another minute, if you don't have that option, I'll start going through. Okay, so if you did not receive the option to join a breakout room, don't worry. One at a time, we'll just speak up. You'll tell me your name and which breakout room you would like to go in. Note that I'm not able to see you, so we'll just have to unmute and let me know.
What were the two again?
We had the finance/budget, and then the other is the Constitution.
Can you put me in finance, please? Nick Lee.
All right, you are on your way.
Rhiannon Martin, and I'm gonna go to the budget, please.
There we go.
Indira Vialta, could I be in budget?
You are on your way.
Arya Patel, budget.
All right. Is there anyone else that needs to be assigned still?
There is someone else.
I can't see because the way the
Yeah.
breakout room is.
It's Alyssa Hodges from Woodbury. We can't really hear you, Alyssa. So if you want to speak up.
If she puts it in the chat, someone can read it as well.
Yeah, Alyssa, if you want to put that answer in the chat.
Constitution, Lauren.
And is there anyone else that needs a breakout room? All right. So the rest of us in here are all set. For those of us that have to prepare for the rest of the delegate session, we'll do that now. If you are a district president or a fellow state officer that does not have a specific task and you'd like to pop into one of the rooms, feel free to do that as well.
Why is nobody talking?
All right, welcome back to those of us that were in our finance/budget committee. If you'll just give us a few more minutes, we are waiting for the Constitution Committee to wrap up. All right, so the Constitution Committee is still going, so we'll give them another few minutes to keep wrapping up. But for those of us that are here as delegates waiting for our friends to return, and for those of us that may be tuning in at home and watching the delegate session there, we are presenting you all with an engagement opportunity. For a chance to win some cool FFA swag, snap a selfie or a picture of yourself watching state convention this year and put it on either your story or any of your social media pages with the hashtag NavigateCTFFA for a chance to be selected for some pretty cool Connecticut FFA limited merchandise. I've just spoken to the facilitator running the Constitution Committee. Sorry for the frequent updates, everyone. But we will be reconvening promptly at 7 p.m. So if you need to take a quick break and grab a drink or use the bathroom, this is your time to do it. And again, we will return promptly for 7 p.m. All right, we're going to give our last few friends just 10 more seconds to hop out of those breakout rooms and rejoin us, and then we will get rocking and rolling with the main portion of our business session. I popped in and out of those 2 breakout rooms and heard some good discussion, so I'm excited to hear what you all have to say. Hopefully everyone has returned to this main session. I don't see anyone left in the breakout rooms, so hopefully we are all good and we can still hear. For those of our friends who are on YouTube, hopefully you are still able to see us and hear us as well. To kick off the business portion of our session tonight, we will start with reports from those 2 committees. So we will start with the Finance Committee Chair. Whoever you are, feel free to unmute and share what your group discussed.
Hello. The Finance Committee has reviewed the budget, and we move to accept the 2021 to 2022 Connecticut FFA budget as presented.
All right, thank you. And we will now hear from the Constitution Committee Chair.
Alrighty, hello. The Constitution and Bylaws Committee met and looked over the proposed changes of the 2021 Constitution and Bylaws. Our committee reviewed these changes and recommended to the delegate body that they be accepted.
Hey, thank you both. Before we get moving on into discussing all of this business, there are just a couple quick reminders. From here on out, once we are debating or making a motion or seconding any motion, we'll be sure to state our name and chapter each time we speak so that our secretary, Joanna, can get that down in the minutes. Is there anything I can clarify about that? All right. And the other thing that we're going to quickly test is that the polling feature in this Zoom is working. So momentarily, I'm going to release a Zoom poll. And if you are able to see it, I'd like you to just vote however you want to vote on it. Doesn't mean anything. And if you are not able to see it, then we will transfer over to a Google form. Are there any questions regarding voting? So I am launching this poll now. Hopefully something popped up for people. All right, so it seems as though that has worked, hopefully. Was there anyone that was not able to see or vote in that poll? Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. All right, so I'm really excited that that worked because that makes all of our lives a little bit easier. But if at any point you have an issue with your Zoom or the polling or anything at all, just shoot us a direct message or an email and we will make sure to keep you up and running. Just as another general house cleaning heads up on that poll, I did receive 37 responses. Just a reminder for those of us who may be advisors or members that are just watching this Zoom, be sure not to cast a vote in that polling system unless you are an official delegate. Is there anything further I can clarify? Great, okay. So we are now going to move into our official business for the evening, which is really exciting. The first item on our agenda for the night is our state budget. Taryn, our state treasurer, would you mind presenting the budget as is for our friends to review quickly?
Awesome, Warren. Can you guys all see this? As you guys could tell on the left, it's the descriptive of the 2021 to 2022 budget as presented. And we also have our proposed budget here on the right side. Do you guys want me to say any of these numbers out loud? Lauren?
Sorry. If you'd like to just briefly go through, I wouldn't go through the breakdown of the specific numbers, but if you'd just like to go through quickly the total income and expenses, that would be fine. And then we'll also have time for any discussion and members can ask questions at that point.
Okay, so our committee, we talked about some of these things that we have written down. So for our incomes, we break it down for conference registrations, FFA dues, and other incomes. And so our grand proposed income is $113,750. And as we go down, there's expenses. So we have like administrative expenses, the conference expenses, our membership expenses, the national convention, and other activities. We also have the executive committee and the state FFA convention. So all of these expenses total up to the same as the income that we have. So it would be $113,750.
Thank you, Taryn. Does any member have any clarifying questions regarding this before we continue? Okay, so the floor is now open for any motion regarding our proposed state budget.
I move to begin voting on the state budget. Chevis Hankins, Ledyard Regional.
Alrighty, quick clarifying point. That motion was obviously you get the gist of the motion. Just word it as that I move to accept the 2021 to 2022 budget, and then that'll be all good. As proposed. So just as a prerequisite, when you're making a motion, make sure that the motion is about the topic at hand, and it is specific to what it is. So if you could maybe rephrase it similar to how I said it, just so we can have it in the minutes. But I do appreciate you obviously speaking out.
I will rephrase it. I'm sorry about that. I move to accept the 2021 to 2022 Connecticut FFA budget as presented.
Is there a second?
Chevis Hankins, Connecticut. I'm a Ledyard Regional.
Tyler Scotty, Board of Aquaculture. I'll second that motion.
Also, as a prerequisite, if you are seconding the motion, you do not need to state your name. So do not worry about that. We just need the person who makes the motion, just again, to make it go smoothly.
All right, it has been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion regarding accepting the 2021 to 2022 state budget as proposed? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. It will appear momentarily. All right, so with with a unanimous vote, the 2021 to 2022 state budget as proposed has passed. All right, up next, we will be moving on to our groupings of amendments. So these are grouped into Group A and Group B. Hopefully we all have had a moment to review those. Before we get started, does anyone need a second to review them?
I would like a second to review them, please.
Absolutely. All right, so hopefully we all had a second to just get our heads wrapped around what we are looking at. So this is grouping A. Our Constitution Committee reviewed this grouping of amendments and did not make the recommendation to pull any amendments. So that being said, when we vote upon Group A, we will lump all of those amendments together unless there is a request to pull an amendment out. Can I clarify anything about that? I know it's hard to wrap your head around at first. All right. So seeing that no one would like to request to pull any of the 4 amendments out, we will proceed to open the floor once again for a motion regarding the grouping A of our 4 amendments.
I move to have the grouping of A amendments motion passed. Karma Copeland, Umogo chapter.
Hi, could you just repeat your name again? I'm sorry.
Karma Copeland, Umogo chapter.
Thank you so much.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
I second. Okay.
I second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to accept the amendments in Group A as presented. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, we will proceed to vote once again using the poll system. All right, and once again, unanimously, our motion to accept the amendments in Group A as presented has passed. All right, moving right along, we're going to the Grouping B amendments. Are there any amendments that we would like to pull from this grouping? give it one more second if anyone has anything they'd like to pull. All right, seeing none, again, the floor is open for making a motion regarding Group B amendments.
I move to accept Group B amendments as presented. Madeline Pohl, Wamogo FFA.
Is there a second?
I second.
I second.
Thank you. It has been properly moved and seconded to accept the Group B amendments as presented. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none, we will proceed to the polling vote. And once again, our motion to, or excuse me, Group B amendments have been passed unanimously as presented. Before we move on to our last few items of business, I would like to ask our State Secretary, Joanna Turner, to take one more roll call as we had some friends that joined us a little bit late.
Hi, everyone. Glad to have you here tonight. Indira Volata, excuse me if I pronounce your name wrong. Indira I'm so sorry. Indira Volata and Kaylin Bernuevo, Lyman Hall FFA.
Here.
Here.
Tyler Tripoli, Bridgeport Aquaculture.
Here.
Savannah Battles and James Wheeler, Rockville FFA.
Here.
Here.
Dominic Lombardi and Anna Silkman, Trumbull Regional FFA.
Here.
Nick Lee and Grace Coombs, Glastonbury FFA.
Here.
Chevis Hankins and Ryan Thomas, Ledyard Regional FFA.
Here.
Here.
Sandra Leclerc and Isabel Easley, Chippewa FFA.
Here. Here.
Thank you so much. Madeline Pohl and Karma Copeland, Wamogo FFA.
Here.
Here.
Taylor Kristen and Spencer Marco, Housatonic Valley Regional FFA.
Here.
Ben Manzer and Arya Patel, Suffield Regional FFA.
Here.
Alyssa Hodges and Amelia Pillis, Woodbury FFA.
Here.
Here.
Shelby Bellows and Rhiannon Martin, Killingley FFA.
Here.
Erica Kusiak, Southington FFA. Brianna Lozen and Alexa Yakowicz, Northwestern Regional FFA.
Here.
And Isabel Caraciolo, Stanford FFA. All right, thank you guys so much, and I'm going to turn it back to State President Lauren.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Yes, go right ahead.
Me and Mary Jo and Lainey Sullivan were representing Southington FFA.
Thank you so much. Could you just repeat your names?
Lainey Sullivan from Southington FFA.
You go. Mary Jo Masiag, Southington FFA.
Thank you both so much.
Are there any other delegates that were not, that their name was not already called? Please shout out now.
My name wasn't called. I'm Sarah Cropley from Lebanon Regional FFA.
All right, final time. Is there any other delegates on our call this evening who did not have their name or chapter called? All right, thank you, Joanna. We have just 2 items of business left on our agenda for this evening, and the first of which is our national officer candidates from our state. Earlier this year, Michael Wolff from Lebanon Regional FFA submitted an application to our executive committee for consideration for his candidacy for FFA national office. Our team and committee reviewed his application and gave him our endorsement as an executive committee. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you, our membership, to make a decision about who will best represent us at the national level in Indianapolis for a potential run at 2021 to 2022 national office. That being said, are there any questions before we move this to the floor? Okay, well, I will now entertain a motion regarding Michael Wolff's national officer candidacy.
I move to accept Michael R. Wolff as the national officer candidate for the 2020-2021 National Convention. Madeline Pohl, Wamogo FFA.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second that motion.
It has been properly moved and seconded. So we will now proceed to a discussion. Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to a polling vote. The motion to accept Michael Wolff from Lebanon Regional FFA as the Connecticut State Officer candidate for the 2021 National FFA Convention has been approved unanimously. And tonight we have one more final item of business. I'd like to invite Alexa DeAndrade, our nominating committee chair, to share the report of what their committee discussed over the past few weeks. For all of our delegates present, normally this would be announced as the slate with positions of each of the officers. However, in an effort to preserve kind of the surprise for our officers during our final session tomorrow, as this is a strange and virtual year, we are only going to announce the officers that made the team this evening, but not their positions. Those positions will be announced tomorrow during our final session. Is there anything that I can clarify about that? I know it's a little bit strange. All right. If there are no clarifying questions that are needed, I would like to invite Alexa DeAndrade, our nominating committee chair, to present the officers that will be serving on the 2021 to 2022 Connecticut FFA State Officer team.
Hello, everyone. I am Alexa DeAndrade, and I am the nominating committee chair for this past nominating committee. After some deliberation, these are the slate of officers in no particular order. First up is Robert Esselby, Hannah Costa, Taryn Goulet, Bailey Hirschbeck, Dylan Bassett, and Matt Zerodiak. Congratulations. And I'll give it off to Lauren.
Thank you, Alexa. Is there any discussion regarding the current slate of officers? Seeing none, we will proceed to a vote. you. The current or the proposed slate of officers has passed, and those individuals will be serving on the 2021 to 2022 state officer team. Their positions will be revealed tomorrow in the second general session. So be sure to check that out tomorrow. Our activities in the morning will start at 8:45 with a pre-session hype-up activity with some visiting state officers. So for those of you that would like to come and participate, please do. We would love to see you. It'll be another opportunity for you to potentially win some FFA merchandise for yourself or an FFA jacket for your chapter. With that being said, the floor is now open for a motion to adjourn this business session.
I move to adjourn this business session. Carmen Copeland, Wamogo FFA.
I second the motion.
All right, it has been properly moved and seconded, and we will now proceed to a vote. All in favor of adjourning our business session of the 2021 Connecticut FFA State Convention, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. I now declare this the 2021 Connecticut FFA business session adjourned. Thank you all so much for the work you put in tonight. We are so appreciative of you. If you have any questions about convention, we'll be sure to stay on so that you can ask. But if not, enjoy the rest of your night, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the rest of the convention activities.